Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Hashtag Badge Chat here on Monday afternoon. I'm super excited to be joined live by Nancy White. You can follow her on the Twitter at Nancy W. Good sign that you're an early adopter of the Twitter if you got Nancy W. Nancy, thanks so much for joining us. Just to kind of kick us off, if you don't mind just quickly sharing a little bit about you and essentials that people need to know about you.
Uh-oh.
Are you not hearing me?
I had two feeds going. I had the old window open. Hello.
Hello.
It got really confusing, but I'm back. So, hi, everyone. I am a member of the Colorado ASCD board. Have been working with this group since about 2013. And I am just thrilled to be able to share with you about this project for the teacher leadership micro-credentials, which I'm really passionate about.
Awesome. And Nancy, for anybody who's not familiar with ASCD, can you just kind of fill us in about what their kind of national and regional work looks like?
Absolutely. Nationally and internationally, ASCD is one of the largest professional organizations for educators across all the United States and many countries as well. Colorado ASCD is an affiliate of this group. You might be familiar with ASCD if you've ever seen the Educational Leadership magazine. That's probably what they're most famous for. And they may be the longest lasting organization as well. So we as an affiliate have our own vision and mission, but absolutely tied to some of the ASCD initiatives such as the Whole Child, which is very near and dear to our hearts as well.
Awesome to hear. And so I love the approach that you all are taking to the micro-credentials that we're going to dive into here in a minute with the teacher leadership. And so maybe before we kind of go swimming in those waters and screen sharing and seeing kind of in the weeds where things are, just at 30,000 foot level, maybe describe to anybody who's watching how you got, started on this journey and just the road to now.
Sure. So actually about a year and a half ago as a board, we revisited our vision and mission as a group as we had a few new board members and we wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. Our vision, professional growth, voice, and innovation for Colorado educators, advocacy and success for each Colorado learner. And our mission is Colorado ASCD uniting and influencing the P20 educational community to promote excellence for each learner. And as we were going through that process and we thought about how we carry out that mission and move closer to our vision, we realized that our niche is really teacher leaders, and there's a real need for teacher leaders and to provide some incentive for teacher leaders to remain in the classroom. And so we kind of took that on as a long-term goal of through the micro-credential process, we can raise awareness of the important work that our teacher leaders do every single day in the classroom.
That is an awesome explanation there. And you're right off the bat just inspired me, Nancy, like you always have. So you're going down this road of digital badge credentials, and I guess where are you, like, kind of just where are you right now in the pilot stage of things, and what's that looking like so far?
Yeah, so we are working with some schools in District 49 in Colorado Springs to pilot our first 3 micro-credentials, which we consider to be our foundational micro-credentials. The micro-credentials are based on the Model Teacher Leader Standards, which came out, I think, in 2011. And those consist of 8 domains, to which we've added a 9th domain because we feel passionate about the fact that teacher leaders are learners first. And so the whole first micro-credential is about creating a personal vision and mission for leading from the classroom. So once that is under their belt, then they move forward with the next 2, also foundational. We are pretty sure in our research that collaboration is an essential ingredient of any teacher leader skills toolbox. So the second 2 micro-credentials are focusing on creating a culture of trust and collegiality, and then using collaboration processes to lead continuous improvement. So right now our pilot group is finishing up with that second micro-credential, and we'll move on to the third and hopefully finish that by the end of the school year.
And was the kind of thought process, can you talk us through just with the 8 different domains, and how did you decide where to start?
Well, we dug into those domains, which are varied, and we saw some common themes that ran through them. Basically, for us, the themes were that teacher is learner and then teacher is collaborator. The second 2 themes that are predominant in those domains is teacher as advocate and teacher as a champion of equity and cultural diversity. Those ended up being the basis for the 9 micro-credentials that we will have. Now, we just have those first 3 that we're piloting this year. Next year, we'll be in development of the final 6, if you will.
And I love how you decide to start small, or at least not somewhat manageable, as opposed to just launching them all right away. Have you just, even in the pilot stages, already had any opportunities to appreciate that you started small, where stuff didn't go quite as planned, and you only had to clean up 3 badges as opposed to all 9?
No, the pilot has been invaluable to us. We have gotten some great feedback from our teachers. First of all, the process was designed intentionally to be very reflective. And in so doing, it requires a lot of writing. And they said, oh my gosh, there's so much writing. So we actually have an option that we're going to probably highlight more for people who are more comfortable reflecting through video or podcast. That is an option for some people. But they also are needing to kind of plan out their time because it requires that they collaborate in their schools and get feedback from fellow teachers and their administrators along the way. And as we know, people's schedules can get pretty crazy during the school year. So we might need to look at offering these for longer time periods. Right now, we think that the ideal time to complete a micro-credential is about 6 to 8 weeks. But that doesn't necessarily allow for the time needed to coordinate schedules with all of the people that help make it happen.
So process-wise, then, are the ASCD credentials, it sounds like they're kind of the culminating piece to a professional learning module.
So the 9 micro-credentials together, we feel should carry enough weight and clout that we can use that then to advocate with an local control state of Colorado. We can advocate with school boards and administrations to say, you know, this is pretty significant what these teachers have accomplished, and they have validated some incredible skills. They deserve to get a little recognition, whether that be by connecting them potentially with the Master Teacher Certificate currently available through CDE, or maybe big pie in the sky hopes and dreams, some kind of increase on the pay scale for the work that they've done.
Well, and I'm sure that a lot of your users and educators who earn these credentials will be appreciative of that effort for sure. And I guess, and maybe I phrased my last question poorly. When I said modular, I guess I'm envisioning that I heard you saying that it takes a certain amount of time from start to finish. So,
sorry.
so is the start then that they're engaging not just in here's the criteria to earn this micro credential, but that there's a kind of course of learning that they're participating in, and is it a cohort based, or do you envision folks being able to do it just as individuals?
I'm going to try screen sharing here.
Oh, that's super helpful. Yeah.
There we go. So it's actually, it follows the ASCD model, if you're familiar with that design model. So the teachers begin with analyzing whatever it is that they're supposed to be working towards earning, where they are currently with that particular skill. Then they develop a plan. Sometimes this is based on their analyze step. Often, I mean, they're very linked. So for instance, in the second micro-credential, they have to go and survey their staff regarding collegial culture to get some real feedback. And so then they start developing their plan based on the data they've collected. And then they design an action step to try to improve upon that particular deficit that they uncover, implement that step, and then the final step in ASCD is to evaluate, but I prefer to say reflect, because the whole process, they're reflecting along the way.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that really lends itself, it sounds like, to just where we are right now in this moment of digital badge credentials is, between the plan and the evidence or the data that they're using to kind of inform the plan, and then the kind of actual action step and reflection that comes with it, that these are things that don't necessarily lend themselves to objective representations of learning and growth, and that really the ability to attach these as artifacts to the micro-credential helps them tell this kind of richer story about why and how they demonstrated this competency.
Absolutely. And it's been probably about a month since I went through. All of our team has been certified by Bloom Board, who we've partnered with currently on these micro-credentials, to be assessors of the evidence that is submitted. And I was practically in tears reading some of these narratives that the teachers wrote. I mean, they wrote from the heart. They put their best effort forward. It was just amazing to see where they started and where they ended in that process of creating their personal vision and mission.
That's so cool, because a lot of times, especially in the PD space, right, when people have to actually produce something, there's this kind of assumption that it's just a dot and I cross a T going through the process, and that they're not actually, nobody's really reading this stuff, right? And so validating for the earners, for these educators, that somebody is paying attention. And also just in your shoes as the validator, it's not that often that, you get to look forward to actually assessing stuff, right? Like, the people are taking it seriously. That sounds like a really kind of powerful growth process.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just for them, but for us in that assessor role. And they, let's say that they created some goals and an action plan, and they were asked to carry out one of those action steps. What we were noticing were just wonderful aha moments because they followed a process. I think that made it stronger for them and got them more concrete results and actionable results to move forward then as they're going into this next micro-credential.
Totally. And for anybody who's watching this live, we are with Nancy White. She is at Nancy W. And in our last few minutes here, if you have a question you want to ask Nancy live on the air, just tweet it to #BadgeChat. and we'll make sure to ask it. And Nancy, you shared that you're working with Bloomboard.
Uh-huh.
And, in your evaluation process, for folks who are saying, I personally get a call all the time, who's the best vendor, right? And then what I tell people all the time is like that, and it's who the best vendor is who's best for you. And they really, that's, if you're thinking that's the first question to ask, please, your users are going to be better served by taking many steps back and first figuring out what are your needs, and then which vendor is going to meet your needs. And so, are you able to share just kind of what ASCD's needs were and your users' needs were that kind of led you to go with Bloomboard?
Sure. Our needs were many. We had this wonderful, wonderful idea and didn't have a clue how to get it onto a platform that would be reliable, would contain the metadata that, is an important piece of those badges. And how did we actually go about creating a process that would be meaningful? And Bloomboard actually was a great group to work with in terms of guiding us towards that ADDIE model, which works beautifully in a micro-credential process, I think.
Awesome. And Nancy, I do have another question, but before I do, I just want to give you a heads up. If there's anything else you wanted to screen share, I don't know if the site's working a little better, or any slides that just kind of tell me to stop talking, and so that you can definitely get that in. But I did want to ask you about, the kind of somewhat unique position you're in with ASCD of being this really well-known, established organization, and how you think that might lend some weight to the credentials that you're piloting right now, and hopefully going to be expanding to more of a regional, national, and international audience. In that a lot of the PD badges we see are at the school level or the district level, and that just the social capital of the ASCD brand, I think carries more weight probably in certain situations than just a school or district's endorsement or issuing of a micro-credential. And so, kind of how has that played into the development of what you're doing, and where do you see it going?
Well, I think ASCD is watching us. They have a definite interest in the micro-credentials, and they tend to look at our little Colorado ASCD as being very innovative and thinking outside the box. And they showed a lot of interest in our desire to move forward with the micro-credentials. And so they're watching us and cheering for us. And we have had some conversations about how do we take this outside of Colorado. Certainly, we are open to anybody nationally or internationally registering and joining a cohort with us. We are not limiting this just to Colorado. In fact, we had an article published in the Pakistan ASCD journal that called Filling the Void, and you can find that on our website, coascd.org, where we talk about why we think micro-credentials can be really powerful in solving the problem of the teacher shortage that Colorado is facing. And not just Colorado, it's all over. So yeah, we are definitely kind of doing the legwork, if you will, and we suspect that bigger things will happen in the future, but no promises right now.
Right. And so for anybody who missed that URL, that was coascd.org. Co is in Colorado, ascd.org. And Nancy, is there anything else that you wanted to make sure to share with us that we got to take a peek at? I know you were saying there was a little technical glitches going on, which I can certainly appreciate. I sent out the wrong YouTube link to people right before this because I'm struggling with my technology.
Try and get that website to display here so I can at least show people. Oh, goodness, it's just coming up tiny for me. Are you able to bring it up and share it, Noah, to go to the teacher leadership page? And I can walk people through the application process.
Yes.
Okay on my iPad, which is why I'm confused.
Let me.
Oh, I know. Let me try it here.
Did you beat me to the punch, or am I doing it?
No, you're doing it.
Okay.
It's still trying to load for me.
All right. Are you seeing my screen there?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Actually, you know what? I bet nobody else is seeing my screen because I have you selected. Hold on. Thanks, everybody, for your patience. Okay.
Ooh, infinity.
I'm sure my screen, hopefully everybody's seeing it. So where should we take people from here?
So let's look at this infographic real quick. We actually just had a discussion as a board about this. We have put the bar pretty high for applying to the teacher leadership program, in that we want people to have some background in leadership skills identified already through other means or through a recommendation by an administrator or colleague. We want people to know that that we will help any individual that has a desire and passion to enter into the teacher leadership micro-credentials, regardless of step one. Reach out to us and we will work with you. The primary reason had been on this that domains 4 and 5, which really address that data, using data for effective learning, really are not addressed specifically in the micro-credential process that we have. But we absolutely will work with anybody who's interested in the program. So there's a link on the website where you can apply, and I think it's down at the very bottom. It's at the top. There we go. And then, of course, there are fees associated. We have set the price for members at $150 per micro-credential, and $175 with free membership thrown in for non-members. And then we absolutely love the idea of a cohort from a particular school or district that want to apply as a group, and there are discounts available for that as well.
That sounds like a great idea. That this not just live in kind of a silo of individual teacher leaders, but actually fostering a whole cohort of credentialed teacher leaders within a school or district. I love it.
Yeah, there is a collaboration space that's built in on Bloomboard where we can have some rich discussions, and we also encourage, and if possible, as cohorts are working in Colorado, we are happy to go and visit and facilitate some face-to-face discussions as well.
Well, that sounds like a really powerful opportunity, that we don't just get a credential and opportunity to be assessed by ASCD leaders, but actually get face-to-face time with Nancy and crew. That's awesome. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for taking the time to share this really exciting work. As soon as you told me about it, I knew we had to get on Badge Chat and let everybody in the world know about it. Again, she is at Nancy W. If you want to connect with her on the Twitter, please do reach out. She's an amazing human being. Nancy, thanks so much for taking time to share with us this afternoon.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, everybody, have a badge-worthy week, and thanks for spending your Monday with us. Bye-bye.